What makes you happy? Let's explore happiness in this video. The 12 points I just read about what contributes to a person's happiness. Let's see if you agree. Number 1, cultivate positive relationships. Build strong social connections. And that's with family, friends, out in the community. All of that can provide emotional support and a sense of belonging. Personally, I belong to a women's group here in Florida. It's a community service group, and we do a lot of things for the community, and I really enjoy it. I also keep in touch with my sisters. I have 2 sisters. We have daily group texts going on all day, every day. What are you doing? What are you having for dinner? How's your family? You know, etc., etc. It's all positive. And it all helps nurture kindness and compassion. Being kind to others takes very little effort. Opening the door for someone to go in ahead of you, letting someone with 2 or 3 items move ahead of you at the grocery store. It's just being kind and being nice to people, smiling when you see people. Often we walk along and everyone's so serious or they're so disgruntled. Sometimes a smile can just make a person's day. Practicing gratitude. Take a little time each day to reflect on the positive things that have occurred during your day. You can always find something positive every single day. And other people find satisfaction in writing a gratitude journal. I've tried that and it just does not work for me. But at the end of the day, I always reflect on what I'm thankful for that day, what went well. I never focus on, if I've had a bad day, I don't focus on that at the end of the day. I go to sleep thinking about, well, what good things happened. Engaging in meaningful activities. As I mentioned, I do participate in a women's group, which I absolutely love. And it could be a hobby. Maybe you're still working and it's your career. And if you really love it, good for you. Because there's so many people that go through life working and they don't like anything they're doing. This can provide a lot of purpose and satisfaction, no matter what you're doing that you like. Do you like to read? Do you like to paint? Do you like to socialize with your friends? Meet somebody for coffee in the afternoon? All of that helps to bring happiness into your life. Setting goals, even if it's just a tiny goal. It says, by the end of the day, I need to accomplish this. And then when you do it, you're really happy with yourself that you've actually done what you set out to do. Number 4 is maintaining a healthy lifestyle. This one is really tough, I find. You have to work at it. When you're working, it's so easy to just come home and throw some kind of prepackaged thing together and not be too mindful of whether or not it's healthy for you. But as you get older, this is so important for your longevity. To eat healthy, to exercise, and your mental health also. Not just your physical health, but your mental health. I want to say rid yourself of people that are that bring negativity into your life, but that does not seem like a kind thing to do, does it? But I would be conscious, and I am conscious of who I make friends with at this point in my life. I do not want to be around people who are complaining about themselves. I don't want anyone to bring any negativity into my life. I want to surround myself with people that I love and people that only provide positive energy. Number 5 is you must develop resilience. You have to embrace challenges as opposed to avoiding them, and view them as opportunities for growth. Resilience in the face of adversity can lead to a stronger sense of self and happiness. And isn't that so true? We all face adversities at some point in our life. Sometimes they're minor, sometimes they're really a major thing, and you have to find ways to overcome. If you don't, you're going to be such an unhappy person. And there is always a way. There is always a way. And it's up to you to find it. And when you have setbacks, look at those as a learning opportunity. What happened here, and if this ever occurs again, I want to handle it differently. And this is what I want to do. You just, move on. Number 6, live in the present moment. Be mindful. Rather than worrying about your past or your future, what is happening right now? It can help reduce stress and appreciate life's experiences. Limit distractions. Sometimes that's hard to do too. It depends what's going on around you, and sometimes you just have to find a quiet spot for yourself and appreciate life as it is for you. Everyone's life is different, but there is always something to be appreciated. Number 7, foster a positive mindset. That has been my mantra for years. I read a book years ago and took a class by the author of that book. I can't remember her name right now. I was working. And twisting each situation around to have a positive aspect builds confidence in yourself. And especially as a woman, when I grew up in an era where men were paid more money than women for the same job. And over time that changed. But for myself, once I switched my thinking, instead of being critical and finding everything negative, once I switched my thinking to a more positive attitude, my whole life changed. It really was life-changing for me. And on the same thought as positive mindset, learn to give yourself some grace. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding, especially during tough times, rather than being overcritical. They are now in your past, and you have to look forward to your future. Contribute to something greater than yourself. And there's so many ways to do that. You can donate some money or products to a food bank. You can donate your time. It doesn't always have to cost you something. Here, where I live, we have a charity. Well, it's not really, I guess it is a charity to some extent. It's a organization that provides clothing and whatnot to women who have been displaced from abusive situations. And instead of donating my clothes to Goodwill, I always bring them over there, because Lord knows there's always some poor woman who needs something. And even their children, when they leave with nothing but what they have on their back. So the need is very great. And doing that can help you feel good about yourself. Number 9 is work-life balance. Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. Especially when you're young and you have a family, you're raising children, and you work all day, then you come home, you have to look after your children, dinner, bedtime, schoolwork. It's really, really tough. So finding a balance, I think, is hard in every stage of life. I'm 78 and I have a hard time with that, because I have a part-time business that I run. I'm also involved in my community project. I have 2 dogs, a husband, and a house to look after. So just finding time for me to relax and, enjoy a cup of tea or a glass of wine. Sometimes you just have to squeeze that 10 minutes in wherever you can find it. And I know it's not always easy. I used to take a yoga class years ago when I was younger. I would force myself, because my son was very young at the time, and I would force myself to get out and take a yoga class. And I also like to do a lot of craft type things, and that was relaxing to me. Sometimes watching TV, if it's a good program, that's relaxing also. You just have to find your own niche somewhere and find a moment to yourself. Number 10, seek professional help if you need it. I needed it. Years ago, when I was in my late 20s and early 30s, I would have panic attacks over just life situations. And I really didn't know how to cope. And I had to seek counsel for that. It helped. And over the years, I've learned to manage that stress. I still do feel anxious at times. And of course, anxiety is fear of the unknown. So whenever I'm going for a medical procedure, for example, I want to know, what is it? What is going to take place? I want to know that ahead of time so I know what to expect. But when I don't know, I become very anxious. Treat yourself. It's well worth the time spent to seek help if you need it. Number 11, Embrace life's imperfections. Life has its ups and downs, and it's okay to experience negative emotions. Accepting those imperfections will lead to a more realistic and sustainable form of happiness. No one's perfect. And give yourself some grace in that area. No one is perfect. And we just do the best we can. Number 12, spirituality and reflection. Some people find great comfort from their religion. I had an aunt like that. She was very religious. She was brought up Catholic, very devout Catholic. And her faith got her through a lot of family situations. A lot. And I always admired that in people who had that deep personal faith. I'm not sure I am. I'm a spiritual person, and I believe in good and bad, right and wrong, in my view of good and bad, right and wrong. And I try to live my life sort of a do unto others as you would have them do unto you kind of attitude. I'm not a particularly religious person. I don't know if there is a God. Maybe there is. But there is definitely a higher power. I believe in the universe. I believe in karma. You just have to find, what works for you. And finally, happiness is a journey. It's not a destination. It occurs either moment by moment, day by day, or you live your life so that each day brings you more happiness. And I think that's a lot easier as you get older, when you don't have the struggle, or not the struggle so much, but the responsibility of bringing up younger children, educating them, providing them with healthy meals, etc., 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 when there's just you and your partner, or maybe just you. It is a less stressful life, in my view. So I hope that these little techniques have helped you along the way. Let me know what you think about this. I'd love to know your thoughts on happiness. Please subscribe and leave your comments below.